how long does it take to get from Hoth to Bespin, and could the Millennium Falcon have actually done it in episode 5 without a hyperdrive? Well, let's figure this out. The distance from the center of the galaxy to Hoth is 52,250 light years. The distance from the center of the galaxy to Bespin is 49,100 light years. You take the difference and you find that it's 3,150 light years. Now this could be the distance, but if you look at a map, you see that they're actually diagonal from each other. So I'm going to use 3,150 light years as this line right here in the triangle, and then I'm going to estimate that the other line in the triangle is 1,500 light years, and that's of course just an estimate, I don't know for sure. But if you plug those two numbers into the Pythagorean theorem, you find that the hypotenuse is roughly 3,500 light years, so that's the distance I'm going to be using as the distance from Hoth to Bespin. And of course we know in Star Wars that ships can't take a direct route, that they can't travel in a straight line because there's things in the way. For the purposes of this, we're going to assume that the Millennium Falcon could travel in a straight line and only took 3,500 light years to get there. Now you might also be thinking that since the solar systems rotate around the center of the galaxy, that this distance might not actually be accurate for all the time. And of course, it won't be. However, it takes roughly 250 million years for our Earth to rotate around the Milky Way galaxy. And so because that time is so long, the couple dozen years that Star Wars takes place under, the planet's position won't change actually that much. Alright, now with 3,500 light years as the distance from Hoth to Bespin, we need to figure out, could the Millennium Falcon actually have traveled that distance in episode 5 with only her engines? Well, in a previous video, which I will put a card on screen now too, I discovered how fast ships in Star Wars are. And I discovered that the Millennium Falcon travels roughly 50,000 miles per hour, and I'll put the exact values on screen right now. Now, 1 light year is nearly 6 trillion miles. And to travel 3,500 light years at just over 50,000 miles per hour will take you almost 380 billion hours. 380 billion hours is over 400,000 centuries. So essentially, no, the Millennium Falcon couldn't have traveled to Bespin from Hoth with just her engines. At 50,000 miles per hour, there's no way it's possible. However, who said she was just using her engines? The Millennium Falcon lost her hyperdrive engine. That's the whole plot of the beginning of the movie, is that the hyperdrive of the Millennium Falcon just wasn't working. But who says that's the only hyperdrive? Han Solo is a smuggler and a pirate, and he's done a lot of illegal stuff. So he knows that he has to have a bunch of backups on his ship. So many things on a ship can run if parts are destroyed. Like if half the ship is destroyed, the ship can still fly. And the same goes with the hyperdrive. One hyperdrive down, well, Han has another. Han's backup hyperdrive is a Class 10 hyperdrive. Now, I'll go over in a future video about what the different hyperdrive ratings means, but essentially all you have to know is this hyperdrive is 20 times worse than Han's normal hyperdrive. However, it's still much faster than the engines on the Millennium Falcon. So perhaps we could use this hyperdrive to travel from Hoth to Bespin. I'll explain in a future video how I've come up with this, but my personal theory is that your class of the hyperdrive tells you how many hours it takes you to travel 1,000 light years in hyperspace. Given that, it'll take the Millennium Falcon with a Class 10 hyperdrive 10 hours to travel 1,000 light years, which means it'll take them 35 hours to travel 3,500 light years, which is how far we said it is from Hoth to Bespin. So in the movie, the Millennium Falcon takes about 35 hours to get to Bespin. Is that logical? I'm not sure, but that's for a future video, and tell me in the comments if you think that's logical. Is 35 hours enough time for Luke to have been trained by Yoda enough to face off Vader? Is 35 hours even how long Luke was on Dagobah? Maybe Luke was on Dagobah for much longer. All that in a future video, and tell me in the comments what you think about it. But for now, this is Star Wars Nerds and Geeks signing off. See you all next time.